So, about that amazing digital circus finale. Listen, if you liked it, that's absolutely fantastic. If you liked it, I don't want to take that away from you. But, I didn't. Well, okay, it's not that I didn't like it, but, I think the term is mid. Yeah, I think it's mid. It's serviceable. There's no universe in where this is where this finale isn't serviceable, but it's not, like, amazing. It doesn't answer all the questions we could have. I'm unsatisfied, is basically the core crux of this. Yes. The main reason is Jax. Who could have guessed? And I don't want to be, like, a die-hard fan of him, because he sucks, but am I crazy for thinking that spending 30 minutes of the finale on him, and then doing nothing else with him is a waste of time when he was functionally out of the story? Here's my problem. Okay, so they leave questions unanswered, which is fine, but then they answer the questions we no longer need answers to, because the whole thing with Ribbit is more relevant when Jax is alive, but if he's dead, there's really no point in answering those questions. That may be morbid to say, but some things are just better unsaid. Tommy maybe just shouldn't have had the answers in that case, or Ragatha could have explained it and we don't get to know. Because in some situations, you just don't have the answers as of why. You don't have the answers as of what happened. And I feel like spending, like, 30 minutes focusing on a guy who's dead is a bad idea. And I feel like that song and that scene was, maybe intentional or not, misleading us into thinking Jax was going to be saved. Because I thought that. Maybe I'm crazy, but I thought the scene where Pommy hugged him was going to lead into Jax being saved. And more so, it makes me ask a question. Why can't she go back? Maybe he can't be saved, but you can talk to him again. And as far as we know, abstractions are just corrupted files. You can uncorrupt a file, but regardless, like, talk to him again. You can, even if he said, it's too late, there's no coming back from this, okay? Don't come back from this. Like she said, talk to her now, because you can. Talk to him now, because you can. Go back and talk to the man. You have the complete option to do so. Why are you not doing it? I don't understand this. Like, and there's Kane is redeemed far too quickly, also. Like, I feel like after Jax is abstracted, he should have functionally been out of the story. The ramifications of that action can have more, like, impact on the characters, but it's practically just Pommy doing something we don't know how she knows she can do, and like, all the other characters just kind of get hand-waved, and their problems are kind of resolved. Like, Zubal's angry for, like, a few minutes, and then is completely fine with helping Jax, and just doesn't really care anymore. And Kane is completely hand-waved in his redemption. He's just completely fine. Like, yep, Kane's redeemed. Yeah, we all saw this coming, right? It was, like, Kane's redeemed now. And it was the blue eye that was making him evil, or whatever. And that just feels like it feels like it introduced concepts and then hand-waved them at the exact same time. And you don't have to answer every question, but you also can't posit questions that need answers in the finale if you're not going to bother answering them, because then it asks, why posit the question at all? Because it just makes me feel unsatisfied. And maybe that was intentional. Maybe this entire thing was intentional. Well, to feel unsatisfied. Because maybe it's, like, abstraction is a metaphor for suicide. Maybe that's meant to be... And maybe this is meant to, like... remember... I forgot the word. Be similar to the feeling of, like, lost potential when a person does commit suicide. And I guess that makes sense, but this is a story. It's not a person. So, it feels unfulfilling, regardless of why you made it unsatisfactory. And this is just a me thing. I don't think everyone's gonna go into this and think the finale was bad, or that it was unsatisfying. Hell, I don't even think it was bad. But I'm just not satisfied by it. To be completely honest. Like, I saw it in theaters, and I had to kind of hold on to these feelings for a while, because I didn't want to spoil anything for anyone. But I'm just not satisfied, and a lot of people are seemingly following in this sentiment. You can like the ending, and I'm not going to take that away from you, but I do have problems with it. For example, like Kinger. Like, Kinger... Like, the whole thing, like, he says we're brain scans, and everyone understands it almost immediately. Like, he doesn't really go into more detail, especially, like, why do certain characters understand that? Am I crazy for thinking Ragatha wouldn't be the first to understand what a brain scan was? And like, am I crazy in thinking that? Like, maybe Jax could. As far as we know, he joined the circus in, like, 2014, so it's completely possible. Because it seems like more of a recent pop culture concept, but it just feels like a lot of stuff was like, it needed like another 15 minutes. It doesn't feel like an ending, it feels like a jumping off point. Like, things are good now. It felt like, you know what it felt like? It felt like when a show has a season finale and all the characters are happy, and then in like the last few minutes it like shows like some kind of like sign of like an evil entity like coming back to like haunt them or something. That's what it felt like. Like, it felt like they were setting something up that never came, that's never gonna come. Because the circus is only gonna get one season, and that's fine. That's fine with me. A one-hit wonder is absolutely fine, and Goose is tired of working on the show, which is absolutely fine, because the fandom is unbelievably toxic, and maybe I'm contributing that. I don't really think I am, I just kind of have opinions on it. And again, it's completely fine if you enjoyed it. And I did enjoy parts of it. I found some parts of it funny, I found some parts of it sad, I found some parts of it introspective, but I also found some parts of it unfulfilling. I also found some parts of it hand-wavy. I also found some parts of it just dismissive. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, like, after Kane comes back, I was fully expecting every single member of the circus, maybe barring Kane, to do the same thing Pommy did, talk to Jax and bring him back. And I don't care how cliche Disney that would have been. It felt like that's what they were going for, at least to me. And then it just didn't happen. So it feels unfulfilling. And like, maybe, and like I said, maybe it's intended. But it being intended doesn't make it any less unfulfilling. I don't know, like, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade if they enjoyed it. I really don't. But I personally just can't, like, say I implicitly enjoyed this. I can't implicitly say that it was what I was looking forward to, and I can't implicitly say that I loved it. Because I didn't. It does the job, but it doesn't do much more than that. It ends the show, answers some theories and some questions, and then we're done. It wraps us stuff with a bow and gives us a happy ending for every character, except for Jax, which, you know, fair enough. But, like, also that's another problem I have. Why did Kane get to come back? Why did Kane get to be redeemed, but Jax didn't? When for, like, Kane changed, but, like, Jax is just kind of gone. That's a bit more, like, odd to me, that, like, Kane, the primary antagonist, and Jax was like a kind of secondary antagonist, at least in the last few episodes, got to have this, like, redemption arc where he was completely changed, with, like, 10 minutes, it's of something that I don't even understand why we're supposed to think he changed. Like, he scrolled Instagram, my guy, why did he change from scrolling Instagram? But, like, and he gets this complete, like, change in heart and redemption arc, whereas Jax is just a pile of goo. He's just a pile of goo that is stuck in a tent in a permanent comatose state, and no one can talk to him ever again. And, like, honestly, the only way I can make this more fulfilling for myself is that you can cure abstracted people. It just takes a lot more time and effort, and we just didn't get around to that part. 'Cause, like, I can't see why you can't cure them after all we saw in there. Because that whole thing feels unnecessary if it's just hand-waved, oh, it didn't really matter. He's still dead. Like, he's still gone. He's still a ravenous monster. Not ravenous. He's still a monster. He's still turned into a giant pile of black goo and eyes, and he's still a monster, even though we saw inside his mind, saw his memories, saw him. I thought abstraction was losing who you are, was losing individuality. But he's still an individual. He's still there as himself. So why can't he turn back? Why? Why can't he turn back? He says, oh, it's too late for me. Why? Why can't he? I don't get it! Sorry, I'm getting a bit angry, but at the end of the day, it's serviceable, but not amazing. And it didn't have to be amazing. But I feel like I feel kind of like it was too popular to ever have an ending. It had the roller coaster had too many fast moving good parts for the landing to really stick in your mind. I'll always remember the show, and I'm not gonna do a heel turn and say I hate it now. I do love the show, but that finale just isn't it for me, man. And maybe this is just a Glitch thing. Glitch is 2 for 2 without really being able to stick landings, because Murder Drones, honestly, I don't really care for Murder Drones. I watched it before The Amazing Digital Circus, but Murder Drones' finale wasn't really it for me. I didn't really understand the lore, to be honest. I just kind of felt like a carnival ride at a certain point, and maybe that's on me for not following through on the lore. But at a certain point, you have to tell your audience what's happening, because I fully just did not understand why we were doing any of this. And maybe that's on me, but as far as I can tell, a lot of the story is kind of hidden, or maybe I'm just really stupid. But regardless, this isn't about Murder Drones. This is about TDAC. I'm gonna end it here because I don't want to drag this out for much longer. But at the end of the day, I didn't find it satisfying. This is why. If you found it satisfying, that's fantastic. I'm glad you got out of the finale what I couldn't. But I just didn't, okay? So, whatever you think of it, I hope we can respect each other in our opinions, and, I just wasn't that satisfied, so, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.